Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to my first impressions of Doom 64. Yes, that's right, Doom 64 from 1997 on the Nintendo 64, because every goddamn game needed to be called 64. Anyway, this is a port done by Nightdive Studios. What have they worked on before? Well, they've been doing a lot of remastered games lately. They're working on the upcoming System Shock Remastered. They did Turok 2 Remastered. I think they also did 1. I'm not sure. I can't remember. They also did Blood Fresh Supply, which I covered, and they've had an interesting history with remastering these games. Some would argue that, oh, hey, they're bringing it up to modern standards, maybe using a different engine. Not really full ports, just these weird remasters where they're kind of using like a different API or a different engine. They're kind of just rebuilding everything. I'm not really a developer, so I couldn't really tell you how it works. All I can tell you is that this feels a little different. Blood, in particular, some people really did not like the way they handled it, with how aiming and movement went, and little oddities here and there. I thought it was pretty cool, though. It was a good way to experience a old title. Now, Doom 64 is their latest endeavor, and I gotta say, it's pretty decent. There are a couple issues, and the other thing is that, well, you might argue, like, oh, hey, we can finally play Doom 64 on PC. Well, we kind of already had that. It was called Doom EX. Doom 64 EX. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check that out, but it's had an active development over the years. It was an attempt to bring all the assets and everything about Doom 64 to PC. Now, Doom 64, if you're not familiar with it, it's pretty much what Doom 3, some people would argue, should have been. It's got a lot of horror elements that Doom 3 had, and it's less action-focused that, you know, Doom 1 and 2 tried to push. It's more of like a horror game, honestly. I mean, you know, Doom 1 and 2 could be considered horror games back in the day, but now when you play them out, it's more like a action, you know, metal rock, blast everything inside. Here, you're dealing with invisible enemies that kind of jump out of nowhere. I don't mean like, you know, you open a door and you see one, you know, like a little scare, like in Doom 1 and 2. I mean, sometimes they literally just jump out at you. And the music is, it's not rock and roll at all. It is this orchestral, like, harrowing... I can't even describe it. Again, I'm no developer, but, there's some spooky stuff in this game, and it's pretty tight, I gotta say. So let's have a look at the options menu, because, you know, this is a port video, I need to talk about the port. It's got Steam achievements, Steam Cloud, and partial controller support. There is a login initially when you boot it up, but that's about it. It's available for $4.99, which is a pretty good value, I gotta say. But you know, it's fairly comprehensive, and of course, you know, it's pretty cheap. So you got the rebindable keys. These are a little bit finicky. I've accidentally rebound strafe and left and right to A and D again, and it kind of messed up my strafe controls. I didn't know what was going on with that, but essentially I was circle strafing instead of just regular strafing, and it was weird. Something's a little bit wrong with this menu. Thankfully, you can reset the binds right there. So quick save, which is mysteriously bound to F6 instead of F5. Usually it's, well, you know, it's F5 for quick save, and then screenshot, which I was actually doing this entire time. I thought I was quick saving. It would freeze the game and screenshot, so it's weird. At least it goes to PNG, I guess. The mouse scroll is also a little weird, so usually in a lot of other games, when you cycle the... Let me actually show you right now. Oh, the menus are annoying too. Like, look at this. There's also an intro cutscene that's unskippable. You have to delete a file in your folder, which, again, stupid. But anyway, if you scroll around, you know, you can see the guns, but I'm scrolling forward and it's not going back to my default, which is my fist. I have to scroll all the way back. Now, of course, it's bound to the number keys, but, you know, sometimes, you know, if you have a whole gun on arsenal, you might forget. And sometimes it's just quicker to flick the mouse wheel, you know. Okay, but back to the option. Again, this menu is terrible. Like, look at this. Why is it going to take like 3 seconds? I mean, are you trying to preserve the game, or are you just trying to piss me off? Anyway, sensitivity options. You can't, like, move. You can't aim up and down. But, you know, whatever. I mean, I hear Doom EX actually lets you do that, so that's a little pathetic, but the free version lets you do more. And it's like, oh, you're trying to be authentic. I get that, but come on. Really? There's authenticity, and then there's just laziness. Display options, you know, max FPS. I have it at 144 Hz. You can have it go to max if you want, I guess, whatever your graphics card will show. Anti-aliasing. Let's actually turn that on. We got a few options, too. Messages. Blood color. Yeah, you can change it to red or green. Language options. You know, just a few options right here. Nothing too crazy. There's no voice acting, it's just grunts. Graphics API, this is actually cool. You have Vulkan, DirectX 11, OpenGL, which is pretty cool. Borderless windowed mode option. VSync on or off. Unfortunately, there's no drop down for the resolution option, so you're going to be doing this. That's a good idea, and you can't right-click to go back, it looks like, so I have to now. And we're just going to sit here and do this to get this point across. God help if you skip past it. Why would you do that? Okay. Oh. Alright, well. Alright, and you got the password system from the original, although it does save your game, which is fine. I can't actually remember if it did that originally. But, yeah, you got quick save. Quick load. And you know, you got the, you know, a whole bunch of save files that you can just make manually, which is, of course, nice. And the password system is nice that they included that because that means you could do level select codes, which is nice. And probably cheats. But, yeah, not much to say about this one. I mean, if you're not a fan of the way Nightdive Studios does ports, you might not like this. And apparently I've heard that, like, there's been issues on later levels, like, some people don't like some of the flashing lights. It's actually causing just a lot of visual issues. Like, it's just blinding people. Which is weird, because this game was delayed with Doom Eternal, so you'd think they'd iron out every bug. I don't know. Again, I haven't gotten that far. Keybinds could be a little bit better, though. Again, not much to say. It's fun. Weapon shooting is really solid, but... Oh, what? Did I just get... Okay. Oh, cool. Neat. Yeah, there are secrets in this game, and it does tell you at the end. Ooh. Yeah, that's satisfying. You have a different selection of weapons in this game. The shotgun doesn't even have a reload animation, which is it's just funny to me because of the memory limitations. It's just kind of bizarre. But shooting stuff is fun. It's got a much different theme than the previous game. It's a little bit slower paced, but it's also got this survival horror aspect to it, where there's just you got this creepy music. You really don't have ammo conservation, so I wouldn't even call it survival. You know, survival horror. In fact, what even is survival horror? It's just like conserving bullets, or are you actually drinking water to stay alive? Like, no. The name of... It's just... Survival horror is just kind of changed over the years, I guess. It's just weird now whenever you say it. Resident Evil's a survival horror game. Which one? Oh, 4. Well, no, it's more of a thriller. It's not really scary. This game is creepy, though. But yeah, I'm gonna be just rambling at this point. It's a fun game. You know, Doom 64 is. It's a decent port. You know, it runs way better than the original. I mean, no matter what you say about Nightdive Studios, I can tell you this. It's gonna be better than playing the original game on the original hardware. Holy hell, that game did not run that well. And a lot of the limitations have carried over to the PC version. But it's fine. It's okay. Not too bad. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm out.